Exodus chapter 15. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord. I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. He has thrown the horse and its rider into the sea. The Lord is my strength and my song, he is my salvation. He is my God, and I will praise him. He is my father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a warrior, his name is Lord. He threw Pharaoh's chariots and army into the sea. His best officers were drowned in the Red Sea. Deep waters covered them, like stone they sank to the bottom. Lord, your right hand was majestic in power. Lord, your right hand shattered the enemy. In your grandiose triumph, you overthrew your adversaries. You sent your flaming wrath, it consumed them like chaff. By the strong breath of your nostrils the waters piled up. The turbulent waters stood like a wall, the deep waters froze in the heart of the sea. The enemy boasted, I will pursue them and overtake them, I will divide the spoil and devour them. With sword in hand, I will destroy them. But you sent your breath, and the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the thick waters. Who among the gods is like you, Lord? Who is like you? Majestic in holiness, terrible in glorious deeds, author of wonders? You stretch out your right hand and the earth swallows them up. With your love you lead the people you redeemed, with your strength you lead them to your holy dwelling. The nations hear and shudder, anguish seizes the people of Philistia. The chiefs of Edom are terrified, the mighty of Moab are seized with trembling, the people of Canaan faint. Terror and fear fall upon them, by the power of your arm they are as still as a stone, until your people pass by, O Lord, until the people pass by whom you purchased. You will bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance, in the place, O Lord, which you have made for your dwelling, in the sanctuary, O Lord, which your hands have established. The Lord will reign forever. When Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and horsemen went into the sea, the Lord turned the waters of the sea back on them, but the Israelites crossed the sea on dry land. So Miriam the prophetess, Aaron's sister, took a tambourine, and all the women followed her, playing tambourines and dancing. And Miriam answered them, singing, Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. Then Moses led Israel from the Red Sea to the desert of Shur. For 3 days they walked in the desert without finding water. Then they came to Marah, but they could not drink the water there because it was bitter. This is why the place is called Marah. And the people began to complain to Moses, saying, What shall we drink? Moses cried out to the Lord, and he pointed to a bush. He cast him into the water, and the water became good. In Marah the Lord gave them laws and ordinances, and put them to the test, saying to them, If you pay attention to the Lord your God, and do what is right in his eyes, if you listen to his commandments and keep all his decrees, then I will not bring on you any of the diseases that I brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals them. Then they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, and they camped by those waters. Exodus chapter 16. The whole community of Israel left Elim and arrived in the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. It was on the 15th day of the 2nd month after they left Egypt. In the desert, the entire community of Israel complained to Moses and Aaron. The Israelites said to them, Would that the Lord's hand had killed us in Egypt. But the Lord said to Moses, I will rain bread from heaven for them. The people will go out and gather the daily allowance for that day. On the 6th day they will bring twice as much as they collect on the other days to be prepared. So Moses and Aaron said to all the Israelites, At evening you will know that it was the Lord who brought you out of Egypt. And tomorrow morning you will see the glory of the Lord, because the Lord has heard your complaint against him. Who are we that you should complain to us? Moses said, The Lord will give you meat to eat in the evening and plenty of bread in the morning, because he has heard your complaints against him. Who are we? You are not complaining about us, but about the Lord. Moses said to Aaron, "Tell the whole community of Israel to present themselves to the Lord, for he has heard their complaints." While Aaron was speaking to the whole community, they all looked towards the desert, and the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord said to Moses, "I have heard the complaints of the Israelites. Tell them that at sunset you will eat meat, and at dawn you will be filled with bread. So you will know that I am the Lord your God." At the end of the afternoon, quails appeared that covered the place where they were camped. At dawn there was a layer of dew around the camp. After the dew had dried, fine flakes similar to frost lay on the surface of the desert. When the Israelites saw it, they began to ask one another, "What is this?" For they did not know what it was. Moses said to them, "This is the bread the Lord has given you to eat." Thus commanded the Lord, "Each head of the family gather as much as he needs, a pitcher for each person in his tent." The Israelites did as they were told, some collected more, some less. When they measured with the jug, those who had collected a lot did not have too much, and those who had collected little did not lack. Each collected as much as he needed. No one should keep anything for the morning, Moses commanded them. However, some of them ignored Moses and kept some until the next morning, but it created worms and started to smell. So Moses was angry with them. Each morning everyone collected what they needed, because when the sun was hot, it melted. On the sixth day they collected twice as much, 2 jars for each person, and the leaders of the community went to tell Moses, who explained to them, "This is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow will be a day of rest, a Sabbath consecrated to the Lord." And they kept it until morning, as Moses had commanded, and it did not stink or breed worms. "Eat it today," said Moses, "for today is the Lord's Sabbath. Today you will not find it in the field. For 6 days you can pick it up, but on the 7th day, Saturday, you will find nothing." Despite this, some of them went out on the 7th day to collect it, but they found nothing. Then the Lord said to Moses, "How long will you refuse to obey my commandments and my instructions? See that the Lord gave them the Sabbath, and therefore on the 6th day he gives them bread for 2 days. On the 7th day, everyone stay where you are, no one should leave." So the people rested on the 7th day. The people of Israel called that bread manna. It was white like coriander seed and tasted like honey cake. Moses said, "The Lord commanded them to gather a jar of manna and keep it for future generations, that they may see the bread that I gave them in the wilderness when I brought them out of Egypt." Then Moses said to Aaron, "Put the measure of a jar of manna in a vessel and place it before the Lord to be preserved for future generations." In obedience to what the Lord had commanded Moses, Aaron placed the manna next to the tablets of the covenant to be kept there. The Israelites ate manna for 40 years until they reached a habitable land. They ate manna until they reached the borders of Canaan. A pitcher is 1/10 of an arroba.